Farm RPG podcast. I am your host, Belligan. In this episode, we have a mechanics deep dive with Belligan and coderanger into achievements. And we have several player spotlights. Augie and I sat down and talked with Beastsiefer. Later on, Belligan has a player spotlight with emmalouwho, and we wrap things up with a player spotlight with GhostMortalis. Before we jump into that, though, we had another player send in their question responses. This one comes from Valravn, who began playing April 2nd. Valravn learned about Farm RPG through a Facebook ad. In one sentence, when asked to describe Farm RPG, Valravn says, a fun farming sim with an amazing community. Valravn's username is from a mythical wolf raven from Norse mythology. It is said to arise when a raven eats the heart of a king fallen on the battlefield. In addition to Farm RPG, Valravn likes other farming sims and Pokemon. Valravn wishes that the Farm RPG community knew how awesome they are. And an interesting fact about Valravn, they have a PhD in entomology with a specialty in genomics. Thanks, Valravn, for sending in your question responses. I'm your host, Belligan, and this is another segment of Coderanger's Corner. With me, as expected, is Coderanger.
Glad to be here.
For this segment, we're not doing any deep dive into any specific mechanics. Instead, we're talking about achievements in the game. Achievements are something you can obtain through various actions in the game, and there's ones that are applicable early, mid, and late game. Let's start with the easy question for Coderanger. What are achievements?
So, like in most other games, they're just sort of simple rewards that mark progress through the game. You know, some of them are very complex. Some of them are just you're getting started, and the game is noting that you've sort of moved a little bit forward on the path.
I'm sure those who listen to the podcast know, but if you by chance don't, where would you go to find the achievements?
Yeah, so they are under the library, under the achievements section up at the top. Library is in town, if you haven't seen, not the actual library building. Or sorry, no, it's not the library. It's the museum. The museum at the top.
I was all on board with the library there for a moment instead of the museum.
No, yeah, the museum. They're at the top of the museum.
So I like to think of achievements in terms of ones that are really late game, some that are mid game, and then some are early game. What are some of the early game achievements that you can shoot for?
Yeah, so a lot of them you'll just get by playing normally. I think there's an achievement for just starting your farm, if I remember correctly. Most of the early buildings, sawmill, storehouse, all those all give an achievement. And those are just sort of nice early rewards. Like the sawmill one gives 10 gold. And it's just a nice little bonus to help you on your way in Farm RPG. Maybe you pick up a perk or something with that. And then there's a few early game ones that you have to actually go for, mostly the fishing ones. Fishing Streak there's a whole bunch of achievements for catching a lot of fish, as well as having high fishing streak across multiple areas. Those are not super hard to do. If you enjoy the manual fishing minigame, definitely those are good to go for. We talked about before I think that was episode 5. We talked about early game silver strategies. And those are definitely a part of those. And then there's some early game achievements that are just good sources of gold. Sending 1 hour charter at a 1 hour expedition. Each of those will cost you 1 gold and reward you 10. So overall, we usually recommend not using the charters and expeditions unless you really know what you're doing. But doing a 1 hour of each just because they get you 9 gold, it's a good thing for early players.
Another one you can do even mid-game, if you missed it, but it's pretty simple, is to name and pet your cows and chickens.
I suspect most people will probably get the petting one just to level them up, but naming, I think I actually don't have those yet. I have steadfastly refused to name my chickens so far. Mostly because if I do one, I want to name all 250, and that seems like a lot of work.
I've named one cow Patty, who I'll never slaughter, ever. And one chicken Little, my very first chicken, but that's it.
Good names.
You're leaving a little bit of silver on the table then.
Yeah, I think it's 1,000 silver.
Is it 250 for each?
Oh, well, I'm sure I will get to that eventually. But for an early player, we joke as late game players, but early game an extra 500 silver is real nice.
What are some of the later game achievements that are good to work towards?
Yeah, so sort of like not the super late game ones, which we'll get to after this, but medium late game stuff like the community center achievements, giving a lot to the community center. Every now and then you'll see a community center that is easier to contribute a lot of them to. We had Wormpocalypse Day a couple months ago where worms were the item for the community center. So a lot of people donated thousands or millions just to get the achievements there. I don't know if we'll see another one of those anytime soon, but we saw peppers a few days ago, which, it's pretty easy to grow and donate a couple thousand peppers, which are good for working towards those achievements. Getting all of the books, that's more sort of mid-game. The books come from quests, so it's not really a thing you work towards specifically, but it's a good general reminder of, if you keep doing the quests, there's some nice overall rewards for you. And then I think there was one other. Which one was I thinking of? Team player, contributing to the community center 7 days in a row when each goal is reached. So that one doesn't require special, anything. Just make sure that you are contributing to the community center every day. And whenever it hits 7 days in a row, you'll get the achievement and 10 gold. There's some for net worth. Again, you probably won't really, you're going to be building your net worth just in general, but it's a nice reward when you get to certain thresholds.
And lastly, there are some achievements that are so special that you get a nice shiny merit badge on your profile when you achieve them.
Yeah, and they've got a nice yellow outline on the achievements list, so you won't miss them. And those are the ones that you really have to work towards. Some of them, Grandmaster. Still, only one person has gotten that. I believe that's Chloe, our resident mastery master. So we can just go through those one by one if you haven't seen the list. There's Fishing Addict 3, so that's have a streak of 10,000 at all 10 fishing spots. Grandmaster is grandmastering 100 items. I am the Great Explorer, to have used 30 million stamina exploring. That's total across all zones. Mega Farm is to buy the 11th crop row, which costs 100 billion silver. Raptor Trainer is to hatch 150 raptors, which really means get 150 raptor eggs. I think that's it. Yeah, those are all the merit badges right now. Firestream, I believe, has mentioned several times that he's looking forward to adding more just as soon as other projects aren't quite so pressing, because they do offer some nice goals to people. But that's what we got so far.
So are there any merit badges that you are specifically working towards?
Not really. I tend to play not nearly optimally enough to work towards stuff. I'm usually doing my weird data gathering for the buddy.farm site or whatever else. Eventually I'll probably get the 11th crop row. That'll probably be my first merit badge, just because it's the simplest. Actually, I guess maybe the Great Explorer one, 30 million exploring, because I'm exploring just frequently in non-optimal zones.
I would probably be a lot closer to that one if I hadn't made so much apple cider.
Yeah, I try and keep a big cider reserve. How close am I to that one? I am at 9 million, so I'm at a little under 1/3 of the way there. It's not bad.
Yeah, I was working towards the now non-existent Energizer Bunny 3 merit badge, and I was at about 3 million when it went away. So I realized now I've got a ton of stamina I've got to burn through, and it wasn't going to happen without making a lot of that apple cider to get through it.
I know. So we should probably mention, just because some listeners may not know, there was previously the I'm the Great Explorer merit badge was Energizer Bunny 3, and was, I believe, 10 million stamina at once. I think it was 10.
I think it was 25 million stamina.
Was it 25? It was a very large number, and Firestream adjusted it to what it is today, because it was sort of leading people to banking all their stamina and never using it, which meant they couldn't really play the game, which, it wasn't fun. And the goal of achievements is really to lead you towards doing fun stuff. And that one was not doing its job. There is still an achievement for 1 million stamina. which is not nearly as unreasonable to achieve. So if you want to go for some stamina banking, do that one and then start burning through it.
Especially if you have a maxed orchard, that one isn't too many days to get.
Yeah, it's I think it's, if with true max orchard, it's I think 10 days.
Yeah, I had the days worked out in one of my videos at some point, but now that it's changed, it's not really applicable anymore. But
yeah,
such is the way with games that frequently get updated.
Always changing. But that's achievements, and you can see the merit badges on other people's profiles, so check them out. Watch your friends. If you see one of your friends getting one of the merit badges, be sure to send them some trout or other similar celebratory items.
It is worth congratulating for sure. Well, once again, thank you, Code Ranger, for taking some time to come talk to us about achievements.
Thanks for having me.
This is Another Player Spotlight. I am your host, Bellogan. With me today, again, is Augie.
It's me once again. Hi.
Glad you could make it. And our guest today is someone who I understand is a help chat regular. It is Beastsiefer.
Hey-o.
Now, did I get that right? Are you primarily a help chat lurker, or?
I am in help chat. I'm help chat primarily. I like to kind of observe what goes on in there, as I'm still learning a lot, but I also help those that have just started as well. I do go into trade, giveaway, other channels occasionally, but
just stay away from spoiler chat. We don't need you turning salty.
Oof. That's the best part.
So to kick things off, Beastsiefer, we'd like to ask you how you first learned about Farm RPG and how long you've been playing for now.
So I have been playing since February 11th of this year, and I remember it quite well. It was the first Friday I have not had to work in several months up to that point. I was laying in bed, scrolling through the App Store because I had nothing better to do. I don't even remember what group of the Google Play Store it was under, but I saw it on one of the main pages at the very bottom. So I was like, I really hope this isn't going to be another Farmville, but I'm going to give it a shot.
And here you are.
And yeah, that's how I found Farm RPG.
So is it another Farmville?
No. There's no comparison outside of Farm.
All right. I've never played Farmville, so I wouldn't know.
Well, I did play Farmville.
I would not put it in the same classification.
Not even remotely, no. But
yeah, no.
Aside from being not like Farmville at all, aside from the word farm, if you had one sentence, how would you describe Farm RPG?
So having listened to all the preceding podcasts that have been released, I've actually found some pointers in the other descriptions. I would say that is a multifaceted, multi-platform, community-based, non-social game.
Of all the multi-use.
I like the non-social because it's
single player. Yeah, it's a non-social social game.
Yeah, for people that want to play a game by themselves, but also talk to other people that are playing the game by themselves.
Exactly. MySpace of the early 2000s.
That's kind of backwards of how we usually get it. It's an idle game that's not really idle. In this case, it's not a social game that really is social.
Pretty much.
I like it.
So Beastsiefer, I was shocked that I got that right. And to be fair, the first time that I said it, I said something completely different, but my audio got screwed up, so I had to re-record it. So that was my second guess.
Let me guess. You said Beastsiefer.
I think I said Beastsiefer or something like that, probably.
That's kind of what I thought it was. Beastsiefer.
That's a new one. I like that.
So where did the name Beastsiefer come from?
So I am still a massive history buff, but in 5th grade, I got the first part of my name, Beast, from a less than desirable situation I was put into.
Oh my.
And it just kind of stuck. Well, I got into a fight at school and the rest kind of stuck after that name came around. I'd rather not go into it too much. But the last half was added on because every other username that had Beast in it was normally taken. So I remember reading several years beforehand about the German code breakers, instead of using the CYPHER as a code breaking name of cipher, they would take different numerals or numbers and spell it out in code to communicate that there's a code breaker nearby. Instead of using the Enigma machine, which was very, very expensive and hard to make, and using their general language that has been started to be figured out, they would use numbers to replace that. And the numbers in correlation would end up being the same spelling as my last form of my name.
That is pretty cool.
So I figured my childhood nickname that I got for questionable reasons, I put a historical basis behind as well.
Nice. That reminds me a little bit of the Velcro shoe story we heard from NVS.
I was going to say
a
that.
traumatic childhood experience, not to be repeated.
Yeah.
Another unmentionable event in life that led to where we are today.
Could have gotten me expelled. Yeah. Just one of those kind of moments. One of those, oh crap, I messed up.
It do be like that sometimes. Well, besides Farm RPG and reading cool stuff about history, what are other games that you like to play?
Too many to name off the top of my head. I will try to give you as concise of a list as I can. I play a lot of the Elder Scrolls series on my computer. I actually started out on the PlayStation 3 playing Skyrim, but I quickly got the Elder Scrolls Online on my computer, and then I also got the Morrowind and Oblivion that I am still finishing off, trying to figure out where some of these extra things are at that I have been watching YouTube videos on. I also play Apex Legends with my wife, as well as Rogue Company with her. I play World of Warships. A lot of it's on computer. I used to be a heavy mobile gamer until I got my PC built.
Nice list. I'm a big fan of the Elder Scrolls, specifically Morrowind and Oblivion. I haven't played Skyrim.
Maybe.
Wow, where have you been the last 10 years?
Excuse me? I had a whole thing I was going to say, but now I need to back it up.
Like, we need to back this right on back. Where have you been the past 10 years, Bogan?
Not playing Skyrim, apparently.
I feel like I've never met anybody who, like, has played any video game ever, but, like, Skyrim isn't one of them.
And not played Skyrim. Exactly.
I've thought about picking it up, but...
Usually it's how many different platforms do you own Skyrim on?
Exactly.
That's the question, not have you played.
See, and here's my thing with Skyrim. Like, I heard a ton about it when it came out. I was working and going to school at the same time, so I didn't have time for a lot of games at that point, but a lot of my coworkers were playing it. And now when I look at it, everyone's like, all right, here's a list of 102 mods you have to install to make it good. I'm like, do I really want to do that? I don't know.
You don't have to install mods.
I was going to say, I still play base game.
You can play it vanilla.
I have never installed a mod.
I've done both. I've never fully finished the game, but every time I play, I put in an absurd amount of hours. But like, you run D&D campaigns. How have you not played Sky? Like, I can't.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mindset is.
Like, excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this. Before I had my PC, I had 7,056 hours and 42 minutes on Skyrim on my PlayStation 3.
That's a little bit.
Well, you got me beat on that.
And that is still where it sits at. And that is still where that one sits. My PC now has 2,000 hours on it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like...
Well, you've got another thing to add to your list, Dog. You can harass me about reading the quests and playing Skyrim now.
I mean, I just like that's. There's nothing to even like. How? Like, actually.
See,
it's not like I haven't seen Star Wars or something. Come on.
I've seen Star Wars.
Hey, Belle, again, you're not the only one she can get on about not reading the quest. I'm one of those as well.
We're a large group.
Wow.
I have read maybe 2 of the quests, and I can't remember which ones they were, so...
Probably Lauren's advice, right?
For a text-based game.
Probably.
For a text-based game. And I'm not even going to finish that statement. I don't need to. I remember what I was... I remember what I was going to say about Elder Scrolls now that my mind is, gotten almost over the fact that Belligan's never played it. Maybe someday we'll see Elder Scrolls 6. They announced it like 3 or 4 years ago.
The expected release date is 2032, according to what I'm hearing.
It's a reasonable target date.
Maybe 2035, though, realistically.
I was going to say, maybe by 2035 it'll actually be released, though.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how many development teams they go through.
PlayStation
Well, they've
8.
already been through 2 on it, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, in addition to joining me in the not so up to date on reading the quest group, Beastsiefer, what's one thing that you wish the farm RPG community knew?
So this is actually something I have been thinking about, because I had several that I had thought about coming on from 2 days notice. But the big one for me was, more than anything, was remember that we all start somewhere. There was one time I was sitting in help chat, actually reading an answer to one of my own questions, and this one guy had mentioned that, could you imagine wondering how to make 1 million silver? And I mean, he had clearly been playing for several months, if not more. I actually didn't care to go check his profile, I could tell. And I had just stated, it almost seems like an arrogant comment, but I understand that you might not realize that some people do start, and that looks like an absurd amount to them. I mean, I'm still looking at 1 billion, like, how the heck am I ever going to get there? But I know I was saying that like a month ago about 100 million. I'm making that a day. So I think, at least with comments like that, really think about, okay, we all start somewhere before you do anything.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Augie, can you imagine struggling to make 1 billion?
I struggle to make 1 billion. But I have so many tower points or ascension knowledge. I have so much, but I have no silver.
Right.
I was going to say, isn't Augie the library master? Shouldn't she have all the money?
No.
She has all the knowledge.
Knowledge is not wealth.
And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power, but knowledge is not wealth.
But wait.
Yeah, Augie has grinded hard on item mastery, which is kind of counterproductive to grinding silver. They don't necessarily overlap a whole lot.
Which is really cool with the new tower update, because you need to do both.
Yes, you do.
Like you just need to.
I haven't even got to the tower.
You will.
I don't even know how to get there as of right now, because I'm still trying to finish the quest line, A Parts Unknown.
Good luck. Best of luck.
Yeah, the golden leaves are kind of kicking my butt right now. Everything else is in storage.
Yay. Well,
I have no fear. When it's not the golden leaves, it will be something else kicking your butt. It never ends.
It never ends. Never.
I'm only 10% of the way through Corn Jail, according to the quest line. There you go, Augie. There's one of them.
Corn Jail. I didn't even write that one. That was a good one, though. Very fun.
But I did read it. I'm only 10% of the way through.
You got to read the whole thing, though. Especially the last one.
I feel like there's a spoiler alert there.
Let me know when you get there and when you read it.
Got it.
Well, aside from being stuck in Corn Jail, do you have any interesting facts about yourself?
I have a 1.5-year-old son that, while I'm playing Farm RPG most of the time, I'm sitting with, because he does not know how to sleep.
Aw.
And he's medical needs, so that adds a whole nother level to the factor of he does not know how to sleep, and it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, I think we know quite a few people that kind of have that similar-ish situation with, like, having real little tiny humans that just hang out with them while they explore or chat or whatnot. Takes a lot of multitasking skills.
I think that's one of the best things I like about Farm RPG is I can literally pick it up anywhere and everywhere. Between working full-time, and if I'm slow at work, I'll just kind of pop off a couple crops that I can do real quick or something till the next order comes in or something like that. That's nice.
Yeah, or like if you're in the middle of something, you can just put it down.
Exactly. It's a nice little game for those moments where you need something to kill the time, but you don't want something that's going to be attention hogging.
Yeah, they're fun when they're little. When they get older, they want help with algebra homework and laptop repair.
Laptop repair I
Needs
can do.
change.
Algebra, not so much.
I feel like I'm better at algebra than simple addition.
I took 4 years of business math, so I was quite fortunate that I did not have to do algebra or geometry.
Yay for business math.
Homeschooling for the win.
Usually, all the kids that didn't do well in engineering school dropped out and went to business school instead, and then they're our bosses later on.
Pretty much. I feel like that's how it would go.
That's the way it usually goes. Yep.
Maybe I should do that.
I was going to say, I have not took a day of algebra or geometry in my life, but you give me a computer that's busted, I can figure out the part and fix it without ever having to do a dang thing about it. I could typically take apart that one part and fix the rest without an issue.
There you go.
A good skill set to have.
I did lots and lots of math in college, and mostly it's just to know how to tell enough to know to tell the computer to do it for you at this point.
Pretty much.
I'm not doing Fourier transfers by hand, nor would I trust myself to even do simple addition.
Exactly. I don't know if I could do any form of math on a daily basis for fun. I know some people that can. It's like mental abuse to humans. Math. Why do you enjoy it?
Whenever my middle school students try to ask me for help with their math, I'm like, go ask your math teacher. I'm not a math teacher for a reason, and they are. Let them help you, because I'm going to tell you it, and it's going to be wrong.
I mean, if you've even seen Common Core math, you just lose your mind.
I feel like they had that, and then they like got rid of it in like a 3 or 4 year span, unless they brought it back.
It depends on where you're at.
Yeah, my mom pulled my sisters out of school over it and decided to homeschool them. So
I've had kids in the public schools in Oregon, Georgia, and Florida, and they were all a little bit different for how they approach that.
I could see it.
Yeah. Well, we're starting to get a little bit off the topic.
Apologies.
The farm RPG, no problem. We love any conversation we can have that lets us get to know our community members better. And with that, would like to thank you, Beastsiefer, for scheduling some time to hop on with Augie and I. It was certainly fun to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better.
As to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me.
This is another Player's Spotlight. As always, I'm your host, Belogan, and with me today is emmalouwho.
Hello, hello.
So is Emma okay for short, or?
My name's actually Emmalou.
Emmalou, okay.
Yes, yes.
Whenever we get more than 2 syllables, or always, even with that, sometimes there's a shorter version of names that people tend to use.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, I just called you out in chat today. You said you'd listen to a bonus episode we had this week, and we're happy to jump on as a Player Spotlight. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to listen to them as soon as they come out. I've really been enjoying it.
All right, fun. Maybe I'll ask you. We have been working on another type of episode. We're going to be starting to record next week. It's going to be D&D on the farm RPG.
Really?
I don't know if that's something you're interested in or not, but it's going to be a D&D game based in farm RPG. Yeah.
This might be bad of me to say, but I tried playing D&D once and could not super get into it. I finished it out for the sake of the other people playing, but not sure if it's my thing.
Yeah. Well, this will be very different than playing D&D. It's more just using it as a framework to tell a story. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, we've been sidetracked a little bit. Maybe I should dig into our questionnaire. How did you first learn about farm RPG, and how long have you been playing for?
I have been playing since November 4th, and I found it on the App Store. I had been playing some kind of like an island survival type of game, and I had just finished it. And I was looking for some kind of a farming game. I literally just searched the word farm in the App Store, and it was one of the first things that came up. So I downloaded it, and I've been completely obsessed since.
It's awesome. I think those App Store recommendations have come in huge for bringing in a lot of players without us having to do much other than leave positive reviews in the iOS store for the game.
Definitely.
Well, since November, you've been playing long enough to kind of get your feet on the ground and running. If you were to describe what farm RPG is to one of your friends in a sentence, how would you do that?
I tried to come up with this, and I have tried to describe it to friends, and all that I can tell them is to download it and to see for themselves. And so far, I've only gotten 2 people to download it, and they have not shared my affection for this game. But I would say it's a farming game that's not a farming game with one of the best communities that you'll find online.
I love that. I always love the descriptions that say it's this, but not this. It's an idle game, but not an idle game. It's a simple game, but not a simple game.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, kudos for at least getting people to download and try it. I think that's probably 2 more than I have.
Yeah, I have made a pitch to almost everyone in my life, but no one really seems to get it.
Well, maybe try some of the other descriptions and see if that works for people that you hear from.
Yeah. I'll have to write them down from the podcast.
So emmalouwho.
Yes.
It makes me wonder if you yodel or if that came from somewhere else. Where did your Farm RPG username come from?
I did not come up with it, actually. All of my usernames on every platform are my childhood nicknames that my dad called me. And so emmalouwho, my name is Emmalou, and that one comes from the Grinch, City Lou Who.
Right.
And I go by a few others like Bluebird, which is a little bit weirder, but yeah.
All right, cool. So it did come from the Grinch.
Yes.
At the end of the day. Well, now I have to ask, was that the better, older animated Grinch or the newer one with Jim Carrey?
It's the one with Jim Carrey.
Dang it, leading you in the question didn't work.
Sorry, I apologize.
So besides Farm RPG and that survival island game you finished, what other games do you like to play?
I'm going to out myself here as a mobile gamer almost exclusively, but I grew up playing Minecraft in middle school. Me and my siblings convinced Santa to get us an Xbox 360 so we could all play Minecraft together. And I was really big into Clash of Clans, and I've always been really into that sort of game that's like you build your own thing. And I really don't play a lot of video games otherwise. So when I stumbled on Farm RPG, I was like, oh, this is the depth that I wanted from something that I could play from my phone.
Definitely a little bit of strategy there when you talk about the depth. For you, what parts of the game in that regard jump out as they grab your attention and make you dig deeper?
The first thing that I noticed was that it's not an aesthetically pleasing game off the bat, but I really enjoyed that because it meant that that's not where all the attention was going. Because I think that you can download a lot of mobile games that are really pretty, but that don't have a lot of behind the scenes. But once I explored the library, that's when I really got excited about it, because there were so many people like with the numbers. Like I've played like idle dice type of games that are kind of like that. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to figure out like the most efficient way to play. And I never could figure out any of the numbers. And it was really exciting for me to see not just all these numbers, but that this whole community had collected them. And it was, the library is really special to me for that reason.
Well, that's awesome. I think one of the last interviews we listened to, someone was making fun of the statistical nerds. Like to dig in and figure those things out.
I am obsessed. Yeah, you said in the interview from the episode this morning that you like to find the most optimal way to play and then absolutely not do that. And I'm definitely the same way.
Sometimes I do. We're at a state in the game where at end game where I'm at, it feels like you can still min max and, try to get to the very end things the fastest. But I'm kind of at the point where like, I'm just going to slow down when the content's coming out. We'll take my time and enjoying it. Not everyone's that way though.
I've never even tried with the chickens and the cows and the pigs. I just let that sit by itself. I wish that I could be one of those people that's super interested in like at level 8, you can sell, and it's not my thing.
I laugh at the players that like to keep 1,000 of everything in stock a minimum. So as soon as a new help request drops, they can instantly complete it. And then they're bragging, I completed it in so many minutes. And you're like, no, you've been preparing for weeks for this. It's going to take us just as long as you. We're just starting later.
I have a similar struggle, but I just kind of have let it go because since I don't have beta, I now have the tower key with no access to the tower. So grinding out those quests, I can only get so far with them as of right now.
The tower will come out of beta as soon as possible. May or may not even be by the time we air this episode. We'll see.
Really? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. So good to hear.
That's just my speculation. I have zero control over what does. Is there anything that you wish the farm RPG community knew?
The only thing that I can really think of is seeing people complain in chat as soon as a new update comes out and they take it as a personal attack. Maybe just to know that that's not a personal attack against you. Because I see so many people, especially ones that don't have auto crafting on their profile, complaining about updates. And it's like, this is such a great game. And it just makes me so upset that people get so negative when it's such a beautiful thing.
That seems to be the way with all updates.
Yeah.
We saw a little bit of that with the tower, and some of the staff members were surprised. I'm like, hold on, guys. Let me tell you the story about Titan Conquest when we first had yellow memories drop, and the drama that I and another player, Cloud, caused. I mean, we almost made Firestream crit right there.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. So I've been on both sides of it. I get it. All right. Well, that's a little bit about the game. How about yourself? Do you have any interesting facts about yourself you'd like to share with us?
I guess something interesting about me would be that I really enjoy to rock climb. I have done it mostly indoors. I used to work at a bouldering gym. I had to move away for college, and there's nowhere to climb where I go to school. But when I'm home, it's an obsession. I'm there 3 hours a day. I love it.
It's a lot of fun. I never did rock climbing. I enjoy watching it. Like Free Solo was a fun movie.
Oh, that one will make your palms sweat. He is unbelievable.
I think the biggest reason I never got into it, when I was in 4th grade, my school teacher was one of these outside survivalist ladies who did a lot of rock climbing. And she told us everyone that does rock climbing a lot has seen a friend die doing it. And I just thought, I don't want to do it then. I don't want to see my friends die.
Oh my gosh. I have not seen anyone die. That hasn't happened to me personally. But that's scary to hear.
Well, good. Hopefully it never does.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
All right. Awesome. Hey, well, thanks again for responding in chat to come on and be in one of our player spotlights and for taking some time to come and talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Today we have another player spotlight. As always, I'm your host, Belogan, and with me we have a player who pointed out that I made an obnoxious pun when he pinged me on Discord when I said boo, and didn't even really relate it to his name. With me today is GhostMortalis.
It's going to be spooktacular and beautiful.
Spooktacular. Well, there we go. I may be a dad, but I am not good with the puns and the dad jokes.
Well, people sometimes call... we have a saying here, but it's the big uncle, or like, not big uncle, it's just the uncle of the family who's the one who does all the puns and silly jokes. He's the dad, but worse here.
But worse than the dad. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. I might borrow that. I'm good at embarrassing my kids, but not making puns.
I'm not good at puns too, but I'm good at being like a young dude who sometimes seems old.
So to kick off the interview, GhostMortalis, how did you first learn about the game Farm RPG, and how long have you been playing for now?
Yeah, so as a lot of people, a lot of the people that enter in the podcast, I just found it out in the Play Store, Android, the Android Play Store, the Google one, and I tend to go for that a lot because I don't really have gaming hardware anymore. I started university like a bit over 5 years ago now, and I just kind of quit gaming for a bit, then came back just on my notebook with like games that don't need much, like mobile games too. So that's what keeps me. I don't even use my notebook anymore for gaming because it just consumes a bit of the of the computer. I like to keep it more quick for like studying and stuff. So I just do mobile gaming and small farming RPG. So when you ask me about other games I play, I'll just say what I used to play back then, because not anymore. One day again, maybe.
Yeah, no problem. We have plenty of mostly mobile gamers that play farm RPG, such as Amberlin, who has the Fake Gamer Bro podcast.
And I just found it on the App Store and it immediately caught my eye. And I downloaded it. I didn't take long to review it. I actually reviewed it with 5 stars the same day I downloaded it because I was just hooked. I reviewed it. Simple and addictive, very well thought, organized, and with an active community.
Well, that just sounds like you answered our second question of how would you describe farm RPG in one sentence, and it sounds like that was your Google Store review.
Yeah, that was my review, but the sentence, I didn't even remember it was the second question, and I was just gonna skip you through that because you're supposed to be the host. Well, I'm like,
that's right. I'm asking the questions here. Dang it!
No, I'm taking over. But yeah, in one sentence, now that I just typed it here because I like to think stuff out sometimes. I typed in, it's the best text and community-based farming simulator with role-playing aspects and community-driven chat box events.
There we go. That's a good sentence. I like that one. A little bit of planning and preparation and writing it out never hurts. So to go a little bit of off script, you said after the first day you were already hooked and left a review.
Yeah.
What specifically about the game kind of drew you in and got you hooked on it?
I think it was the chat box attachment. What everyone says that farm community is. Farm community. You see how I see it that way. The farm RPG is like a chat box with amazing people hooked to a game. People always say that. And I love chatting. I love people. I chose what I would do for uni. I was a teenager and I was like, I like people, so I'm gonna do something that can work with people every day. So yeah, it just got me hooked, and I guess the style of the game captivates me too. And I remember I started 28th February, last day of February, and I was switching rotations for my internship. And I was at this big hospital all with my friends because we were getting sorted out for which rotation we would have, and we were just waiting for everyone to arrive. And I was playing like clicking, playing, and going for chat. And a friend of me was like, "What new game is this?" Like, now, like, dude, it's I wasn't able to describe it. I was like, it's a farm game, but has a lot of stuff and has a big chat box.
It's a farm game that's not really a farming game. Right. Well, I might ask some more questions regarding maybe what you studied in your career later on, but let's talk about your username, GhostMortalis, a little bit. Where did that come from?
Yeah. Just as I typed this, the answer to the second question, describe farm RPG, I planned my nickname because I didn't really have a nickname for a long time, even as a gamer. I started gaming as like with my name, George.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, just put a number to it. I started playing as a kid like George and put like 35. Yeah, it made no sense. And then I went on to random names like Sublime G, I think. G because my name. And Sublime because it's a band I like. I think you know it. I don't practice Santeria.
Yeah.
And then I started playing Clash Royale, which was a mobile game I played for a long time. And I was like using my real life name, and I was like, no, this is dumb. This is my real life name. I need to change it. And I was like, so I'm gonna do a nickname with my initials. And I was like, G. No, and I was like searching random names, G, but and I was like, Ghost, okay, Ghost. And I'm like, so I'm gonna do something not spooky, but like something like gamer. So I was searching like you search a kid's name or a pet's name, and I found Mortalis as I was like searching Latin names or something like that, and then it stuck.
Very cool. So it bounced around from your name to Sublime, the band, to back to your name to something tying to your initials.
Yeah, to this, which is my initials, but in random things, a ghost and death and Latin.
Now you have to stick with GhostMortalis everywhere you go, so we know who you are.
Yeah. I think I will.
Just a second, Augie was pinging me.
Yeah, if Augie wants to join, I'll be happy.
She's got a cold, so no worries.
Poor Augie. I'm mentioning coderanger because I like him. He's like, I really enjoy him as a dude. And a lot of people in the farm community, but I know mostly Nicks, and it's like so many Nicks that if I'm gonna like say everyone I enjoy, I have to say just everyone.
Just a long list, yeah. Well, me, Augie, and Coderanger's a pretty good group to start with. I'll give that one my approval.
The podcast group.
So I know you mentioned this before. We were talking about what other games you like to play, and you mentioned you aren't really playing anything else but Farm RPG right now, right?
Yeah.
Is there any game that you've looked at that you've seen people talking about that might have piqued your interest?
Yeah, I thought about this question as well before we started, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll talk about my previous games. But I came to Elden Ring, which I think one person mentioned before in the podcast. I want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Chloe, dude. I think Chloe wanted to play Elden Ring, and she said she was a bad Souls gamer.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm just the opposite. I'm like a crazy Souls player. Dark Souls is one of my most played Steam games, and I got so hooked on Dark Souls at the time that I made a friend of mine play it, and he's like the influencer of. He used to be the influencer of my gamer group, and he made everyone play too. Then we're all hooked on Dark Souls, and I was like pretty good at it too. I was like trying to be a completionist in it. It's amazing, the Souls games, but I really only played Dark Souls, which is maybe just sad, I guess.
Well, that's more Souls games than I've played, to be fair. Not a genre I've jumped into a whole lot.
Yeah, it's because there's 2 and 3. 2 is kind of meh, and 3 is good. And then there's Bloodborne, which is amazing.
All right, well let's change topics a little bit from Dark Souls games and go to our 5th question, which is, what is one thing you wish the farm RPG community knew?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna mention Buddy Farm again, as I maybe told you, because it's just such an amazing site, and coderanger is just so, I don't know, helpful into it. He's online in the game chat right now, and it's like, props to him. I just messaged him these days, and I was like, hey, dude, wouldn't it be cool to add farming to the XP calculator? He didn't even answer me. I think he just jumped on to do it, and when I checked, it was already there, and I was like thanking him. Damn.
He's very responsive. Yep. All right, good. Well, hopefully everybody that listens to the podcast knows about Buddy Farm, because we had a segment with coderanger about it, but there's a lot of people who play who don't.
Yeah, so maybe I have to go somewhere else, going about Brazil and sugar apples, and I don't know, like
just get a billboard, put it up on a major street, Buddy Farm,
passion fruit juice,
and put your referral code on there.
Right. I will.
Awesome. Well, how about yourself? Do you have any interesting facts about yourself you can share with us?
Yeah. Now, I'll maybe ask you to ask me back, so I don't ramble on too much, because I'm a big talker, so I can just be rambling on about myself. I don't think that's the intention of the podcast. I don't know. So yeah,
Well, we want to get to know you for sure.
yeah. So yeah, I think most of everyone know I'm from Brazil. I have a little flag. I like I put it out a lot, and I just love here. I grew up to love, not loving so much before, and now loving even more. So put it out. Uh, I'm studying medicine. I'm in med school. You would call it in America, but here it is not so. So it is still really tough, but like in America, it's like it's undergraduate, then postgraduate, and it's just worse. And then here's already bad. There's worse. Even though I really wanted to go there for some time, still kind of want to, but well, yeah. I have a pack cocktail. His name's Billy. Mm. What else?
Is it a cockatoo or a cockatiel?
No, a cockatiel. Yeah, it's hard to maybe get it because cockatoos are like more. I think people know the name of the cockatoos more, but cockatiels are more common as pets. I think. I think worldwide.
We had a parrot. I'm trying to remember what kind of parrot it was. It was one of the small ones. That my wife liked to take outside, and one day we had an owl come down and take our parrot off her shoulder in our backyard in the middle of the day.
But did it survive?
No. No, he flew off with it and ate it. Yeah, it was pretty traumatic.
Oh my God.
A Quaker parrot. That's what it was. It was a Quaker parrot.
A Quaker. Let me check. I think I've seen the sparrows.
They're not very big, but they're a little bit bigger than parakeets. But
I love them. I love most parrots because I grew up with birds. I think I had oh my God, I'll have to translate names because we have like Brazilian names for the things. Mm-hmm. So I had tons of birds here. I had tons of birds, parrots, and like. So I grew up with them, and then another random curiosity. I'll maybe help parents around. The bird's poop is harmful. Like it's not good for you, especially when it dries. And if you inhale tons of bird poop,
it's like every 15 minutes or something they go, right?
Yeah, they go, and so the bird poop is really bad for you. So you don't want to keep inhaling their poop, and you want to clean it. As well as you can, like I don't know, 2 days at least. But I had this horrible habit as this young teen or young kid that I would just be gaming on my desk, my computer. I put on an old shirt, and I would have my cocktail on my back or on the computer with me, and he would just poop everywhere. And I wanted to game. And I couldn't bother to clean it up, so I cleaned it up like at the end of the day. So I spent the whole day like inhaling dry bird poop, and I got like I don't know that goes. I had to get rid of the bird for some time, take some medications, and like got a bit of short breath, almost an asthma like syndrome. Some kind of crazy.
All right, so there you go. It might be cool to have a poop-covered bird shirt, but
or just clean it. Just don't inhale it like a dummy.
Don't eat it either, right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Hey, well, one more time, GhostMortalis, I want to thank you for taking some time to come on and talk to me, and for telling us a bit about yourself. And look forward to seeing you around the game.
Yeah. Now, the closing music. Bam, 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 bam.